Hey, I'm Kevin and let's talk about shop. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kevbotworkshop. Today I'm going to do something a little different from usual. Normally I post just instructional videos on what I'm making, but today we're going to try something different. I'm going to call this series Around the Shop. It's going to be something that I'd like to do on a regular basis and to show you what I'm actually working on in between projects. I don't record every single project that I'm working on. Sometimes it's just a project I'd like to knock out and get out of the way. Other times it's just not that interesting, or at least I don't think it'd be interesting for you guys. So what I'm going to try to do for this series is show you what I'm working on, whether it's something for the shop or maybe something somebody asked me to build for them. But I'm going to try to keep you guys in the loop on what is actually happening here more in the shop. So recently a friend called me up and told me that they had a neighbor that was cutting down a maple tree. Now I'm not a person that's into milling my own wood a lot. I don't have a bandsaw mill or a chainsaw mill or anything like that, but in the future I would like to start getting into that. So what I did was I went over there and I picked up some pieces that I could potentially use someday. I picked up a lot of these smaller logs so that I can maybe split these and then turn them into bowls someday. Now I don't have a lathe currently, but I have done lathe work in the past and I think I can turn these into 12 to 13 inch bowls someday. I also got this large log from a neighbor that was cutting down a tree. I'm not exactly sure what it is. At first I thought it was silver birch, judging on the bark and the leaves, but really I don't know what it is, and I'm not the person to really identify trees based on their bark, leaves, and all that other stuff. So if you guys know what this is, please let me know in the comment section down below. Now for all these logs, they were all picked up within the day that they were cut. So what I wanted to do is cut down on the checking and the cracking of the wood. So I just painted it with some latex paint that I had around the shop. The latex paint isn't the best to use to seal the ends, but it's better than nothing. So these logs are just going to kind of hang out in the shop for the next couple years, drying out. I hope to be able to cut open the smaller logs so that I can maybe turn them on the lathe a little sooner while they're still green, and that'll help them dry out. We could get the basic shape, but for right now they're just going to take up space and I need to find a spot for them. One of the cool things about these logs is that they came in right when I was getting this bandsaw right over here. So I'm super excited. I actually finally upgraded my bandsaw. You probably saw in my other videos that I had a really small baby bandsaw, but now this one's a lot bigger. It's a Rikon, and it's a 14-inch capacity, I think. So I decided to break it in a little bit and get some smaller slabs out of one of the blocks that I got here. This was a little big for the bandsaw, but it was able to get through all of this, and I even used it to try slabbing one of the longer logs that I have here. After I made the first cut on this log, I decided that I didn't want to do any more on this. I was more concerned for the longevity of the bandsaw as well as the blade on it. So I decided that was enough milling for me. I wanted to give the bandsaw a rest because I know I'm going to be using it a lot on the project to come. With this other log, I cut the blanks at 10/4 to yield a little more thickness with my not so straight cuts. When the log was cut, I then put them on stickers so that the air can circulate around them, and then this log can dry a lot quicker. So that one should be sitting in the shop for a lot less time than the other ones, but I'm just going to kind of keep it and let it dry for a while, as I don't have any projects that I'm going to want to use it on right now. So if you follow along on Twitter and Instagram, you saw that I finally decided on a design for a queen size bed. This bed is just something that I'm building for myself. I think someday that it's going to turn into a guest bed, but for right now it's just a project that I'm building for me. I went and picked up all the lumber for this project. I'm actually going back to cherry wood. I've done a lot of projects with walnut recently, and so I wanted to do something different. I was struggling between cherry and oak, but I went back to cherry because it's something that I've worked with in the past and I really love the smell of it. So for what I picked up here is that I picked up 3 boards that were 8/4 and the rest are all 6/4. I was actually looking for something a little thicker, like 10/4, so I can do some book matching, but they didn't have that, so I'm gonna have to alter the design a little bit so I can work with the 8/4 that I have here. I might use a little bit of maple on the project as well to give a little bit of contrast, like I did with the saddle bar stools that are right back here. I'm going to make that decision as I get closer to actually starting on the project. So these boards are going to be sitting in the shop for a couple of weeks or a month, or when I actually get to the project. I'd like them to acclimate to the shop and the humidity so that when I actually cut into them, there's not that much movement. So in the meantime, I'm going to be starting on a project that I'm going to be showing you guys, and I'm super excited because I'll be working with Resin, yes, everybody's using resin these days to make river tables and all that. No, I'm not making a full river table, but I am going to be making something similar, and I'm going to be working with some other mediums as well. So I'm super excited because this is going to be a small, simple project that I hope that other people will get some inspiration from, especially those who want to actually try using some resin and don't want to spend thousands of dollars to make a giant table. So that's a video that I should be starting on within this week. I know I said on Instagram that I would start on it last week, but work and some other things got in the way. But now I have a lot more time that I actually can get started on this project, and I'll be able to record it and get it out to you guys really soon. So there's something I'd like to try. You could see it here in the title. I'd like to go over reviewing my own projects. You know, there's a lot of things I can say to you guys about my projects on camera, but there's a lot of things I leave out as well to keep the time of the videos down, as they're already long enough. But I'd like to go over and review my projects that I've worked on in the past, so I can go over the pros and cons, likes and dislikes, from design to technique to wood choice and all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to bring in this back and forth between you guys on whether it's a comment or a question you guys had on the project, or any other type things that had to do with the project that I may not have talked about in the video. So today we're going to be talking about the coffee table. It's my most recent project that I worked on. It's my most favorite project to date, and I'm super excited because I absolutely love this thing. I do have some pros and cons, or likes and dislikes, of what I have with the table. This is something that I've been designing for quite some time now. It's not anything that I'm breaking the wheel with. It's something that specifically fits me. Everything I build mainly fits what I want, because I mean, if it's going to be in my home, I want it to fit me, my style, my needs, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just really excited about this coffee table. So some of the pros that I have with this table, or things that I liked, are the size and the alterations that came with it. So when I originally designed it, I talked about it in the video that the panels were going to be a lot smaller, but I decided to make that change and make them bigger. Now I wanted to make everything with mortise and tenons, and with creating these panels to be larger, I had to change the design and use some dowels to make them just a little bit longer. I'm completely happy with how it turned out, though. I like how large the blanket chest is compared to the shelf and the tabletop and everything. I think proportionally it all looks great. My favorite part of this table actually is the tabletop, though. I'm a huge fan of the segmented center. This is actually something that I decided to make a last minute decision to make something like this. The table I thought looked great as it is, but I thought the top was a little plain, as it was just going to be a walnut top. So I thought, hey, how can I make this a little more great by adding a little bit more detail? So I decided to add the Padauk, the maple, and the walnut segmented center, and I think it looks great. I've seen this kind of combination online, and I think it just plays off well together. The Padauk really pops next to the maple pops a lot next to the walnut, and we get this great contrast with all three. So one of the cons or dislikes or pitfalls that I've had with this project would be the tabletop. Originally there was not supposed to be breadboard ends, like I stated in the first video of this project. The table cupped due to the humidity and the heat here in the Midwest, and so it was kind of a happy accident, because I think the breadboards look great on the table now, but originally it was just supposed to be a flat top with the segmented center. But it was something I had to overcome, and I thought it was a great experience because I had never done breadboard ends before, and I think they turned out great. The only thing that I may have done differently, like I said in the video, was that I wouldn't have done the tongue and groove all the way to the edge. It's the only thing that I'm kind of nitpicky about, is that I can see the tongue and groove. The other thing, I wouldn't really call it a pitfall though, is that the hardware that I used to create the handle of the drawer, I actually found out that you can buy couplings that are already polished and cylindrical. So that was kind of a waste of time on my part, but it's not a big deal. I thought it was a great experience, and it's not like I spent that much time on it. It was really just a drill and some sandpaper and polishing it up. And I thought it was a fun experience, and I was able to create my own hardware so that I can use for the drawer pull. One of the things I like that I've been told by you guys that you guys like is that I work within my means. So everything I do in my shop is based on what I have and what I can do and all that kind of stuff. A lot of shops have larger tools and really expensive equipment and all that kind of stuff, and I don't have all that. Now, my shop has grown a lot, like adding a jointer and a planer and my bandsaw now, my table saw. I didn't have all of this stuff a year and a half ago, so it's a really exciting time for me, but I still work within my means, and so there's a lot of tips and tricks that I do to still accomplish the same thing that other woodworkers can do with larger tools. And so I really like to convey all this information that I have to you guys and show you different ways to do things. Not all my projects are brand new designs, brand new techniques, all that kind of stuff, but I might do something differently just to teach somebody how to do something as well, because I know, just like all you guys know, that not everybody has every single tool. Like, I don't have every single tool out there, and I mean, I'm still working on the shop right now, but I still need to be able to do certain things, and I'm going to do it however I can. And really, when it comes down to it, is if the job gets done, who cares how it's done, as long as it's done correctly. One of the best things about the woodworking community or the maker community is that everybody is just so helpful, and it's just a fantastic thing, because if you have a question for anything, you have 20 people that are going to answer you, and it's just it's wonderful because everybody is giving and taking, and it's a great thing. My way of giving back to the community is by making these videos for you guys, and so whether it's just being entertaining or inspirational or giving out information, I hope to be able to share my techniques and designs and all that kind of stuff for you guys, so that you guys can learn and grow as well. So this is what I'm trying to do with the Around the Shop series, is to try to talk to you guys a little bit more rather than just giving instructional videos on how to make projects, and to just show you what's going on with my life, because I'm not just sitting around in between project videos doing nothing. A lot of it is planning and designing and working on other stuff. But I'd like to get more of these videos out to you guys a lot more often, so that I could just give you guys more content in the meantime. If this is something you guys like, I would love to make more videos like this and get to know everybody in the community. Feel free to leave a comment on suggestions for topics to talk about or anything like that. I'd love to include you guys as much as possible. Please hit that subscribe button below so you can get a notification when I release more videos, and I'll see you guys next time in the Kevbot Workshop.